Hey everyone, how have you been? And this is Alex the Fever, and this is my art channel. Today I'm going to be showing the second half of my live stream that I did about a week ago, showing how I made this painting. Now, why am I showing just the second half? Well, the first half was on the Instagram live stream, but unfortunately, due to an error, I lost that first half footage, so you're just going to be seeing how I made the second half, and hopefully it'll still be helpful in case you have any painting ideas for yourself in the future. Hey, sorry about the delay there. My phone died again. So for now, I am just going to record the second half of how I finish this painting on my laptop, and you can catch how it ends here on the YouTube channel. So, how do I finish this? So I added the sun, I started adding a little bit more to the ocean. Here, let me bring this closer. There we go. So you can see me from here. We're going to see how I finish the rest of this. So I added more to the ocean there, and now I will be adding in some of the islands and adding in the mountain bottom. Now our ocean, we already got in. The sky, the islands, as you can see here in the picture, they're really, really dark. So I'm gonna add in a bit of a dark brown mixed with a dark green. So we'll add those in some islands to really give it that natural effect. Now think of these islands from this perspective as funny shaped pancakes. They are big, but they're super flat. Only from this perspective. You stand right on them, they're huge. But they don't have much elevation to them, these islands. Now the tops of these islands, they are reflecting little bits of the sun, and the bottoms have little bits of the water in them. So what does that mean for us? That means I'm going to get a smaller brush, and mix them in together. And mix in with the lighter colors of the sky for the tops of the islands, and the water will surround the bottom parts. Kind of like little dots on the treetop. So because these are still super wet, I'm gonna have to go over it again later. So for now, I'm just marking where I want these things to be, marking where I want the tops of the islands to appear, and blending in the bottom of the islands with the water. Because islands are islands, water kind of goes around them. So I want to reflect that in this water. Yes, there is water here, but it's going to go little bits of diverging paths around the land. It's not just sitting there in the middle of it. Water moves, and it moves around these islands. So this leads to the question, how do I want my mountaintop to be? In the photo, I'm not sure if you can see that we've got it raised up higher here, and then everything from here is more or less flat with rocks and grass in between. I kind of like that, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a section that's higher up over here, and then the rest is various shades of flat and not. Now the higher up section, it is darker, so that's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need some new colors, once again, always making new colors. And I think we'll have, because this is a mix, this is land, I've got this this iridescent rich copper, which will work great. And I have the black. I'll go back to black. And I'll use burnt sienna again as well. So a mix of those three would give perfect mountaintop, rocky mountaintop colors. You can't forget burnt umber, the brown itself. This gun going back to the palette knife because palette knives make life easier. Got that pretty mixed in there. Now I think I'll use this thicker brush because we're now dealing with land. So we got our raised bump area, which I'm gonna have over here. It's gonna crest right above where that island is, which for my purposes is perfect. Yes, I'm covering over some of the areas that I painted. Now, why would I do that? Because we're adding in more foreground and background. If it's covered over here, we know that the ocean is falling behind here, and the mountain is on top of it. So there we have this area. Now we're going to need the rest of here to be a little bit lighter. So mixing some white and some orange. Now, why am I just covering this up in one big splotch? Because I'm tired. But also because I'm going to add in the details later. Right now, I'm just pointing out where I want things to be. And that's nowhere near enough paint. This was an accident. I accidentally scooped up here, but it's a bit dark and it's a bit harder to clean up off of the ocean, so I'm just gonna have to keep it. Made some more paint. This paint, some more of the mix is this is just a little bit lighter and a little bit more colors into it, because as we're getting closer to the foreground where our perspective is, they would see more color. they'd see what color the ground is in front of them. And ground usually isn't that gray. So adding a little bit of some brown into here. In fact, I'm kind of liking that hill I made earlier, so I'm going to make this another hill. Now we get to paint the bottom of here, which we never want to forget because it is still part of the painting. Kind of liking the way this is turning out so far. So, what's next? Next, I need to empty my water again, so I will be right back. So I took a little bit of a break, hence the short change, and now I'm back showing how I paint this next section. Once again, pulling out my reference photo to compare, and now I'm going to be doing a little bit more work on that bottom area. Now, I may have referred to it before as a mountaintop, but then I started to change my mind and wanted to make it closer to the shore than an actual mountain top. To get that dirt color, I'm using raw umber and Jenkins green. Those are some pretty good land colors, so I thought they would be a pretty good idea to use them as the seashore land colored area. Once again, using a couple of different fan brushes. I like fan brushes. They're easier to use and they help spread out the land a little bit more, add some texture, some grassy planty area. They also make some good rocks as well, so hence the fan brush. And as you can see, I'm starting to fill in those different areas of land, and I'm going to start to add in some different boulders of rock as well. Making this foreground a little bit more lighter than the background just because we're adding some depth and showing that this isn't just one local area but giving a little more distance and spreading it out. Now I'm adding some Titan Mars Pale just to lighten up the rocks a little because I didn't want to make them all the same color tone, but just to add a little bit more distinguishing between the two. Our blue going on here, our cobalt blue. Adding that in to once again give the effect of some water in the area because our eyes will see little bits of that blue and trace it back and remember, yes, water is flowing through here, so there should be some signs of some evidence of that occurring, hence the cobalt blue. Adding in a little bit more to add like one big rock towards the front here. Figured that would give it a little bit more of a nice spread of ground. And I'm adding in a little bit of reflection from some of those sky colors as well, because as the sun's rising, we're giving it a nice reflection on the local land. Starting to add a little bit more colors and ripple effects into the waves, really trying to bring at least a sense of realism to this. Now we're starting to add some cloud cover and some depth to the sky, because I thought the sky was looking really kind of flat, and the sky isn't flat, so I wanted to give it a more 3D effect by having it furthest away where the sun is, and as we get closer to the top, the more bigger and bolder the clouds are coming towards us. Sometimes the camera there has a bit of a hard time showing the range of colors, so I figured I'd bring it a little bit closer, move around just so you can see just how effective those clouds are starting to be. forgot to lower the camera, but you'll see in the photo at the end, but I painted in a crab here at the bottom on this rock. And I'm also going to add a little bit more of that reflection from the sunlight as well, just to give it some depth and some value. Somewhere you can just find out by the ocean and to add it to these grass reeds, because then I want to take that picture. So I'm just walking down and just taking a picture as I walk along the shore, and they see this kind of like a paradise. Alright everyone, I appreciate you taking the time to either watch the Instagram live stream or to come here and watch this YouTube video and see how I finished up my painting. I really like taking the time to make these sort of things, and sorry it's been a while since the last post. Promise you will see some more here and there, and if you like what you saw, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And let me know. I appreciate the feedback, and have fun painting.